Time is 6:03 p.m. We're 3 minutes late due to some audio issues with one of the commissioners who's on Zoom. There is a quorum of commissioners present: Commissioner Thornton, Commissioner Arnold, Commissioner Wilson, Commissioner Domney, and myself. This time we'll move to item 2, which will be prayer and pledge of allegiance to the United States and Texas flags. Let us pray. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many blessings you've given each and every one of us, dear Lord, and we just ask that you be with us tonight as we conduct the business of the district, that we make good and prudent decisions that are favorable in your sight. We ask that you be with our men and women as they go about the business of protecting the citizens of this county, and be with each and every one of them's families and uplift them as they are gone from time to time. And dear Lord, just watch over us, lead us, guide us, and protect us. All these things in your Son Jesus' name we ask. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. And I forgot, if y'all would, please silence your cell phones and turn down any other audio equipment that you have, and we'll move on. Item 3 is recognition of guests and special presentations. Only guest we have is our auditor, and he'll make a presentation later on, as far as I know. And, yes. And anyway, item number 4 will be public comment. No public comment. All right. We'll move right on. We'll move to item number 5, which is consent agenda. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action related to the payment of accounts, bills, invoices, payroll requests for reimbursement, requests for other payments, transfer of funds, and amendments. Under 5.1 is emergency purchases, and there was none this time. So we'll move on to 5.2, which is payment of bills, which you can see them. They're all listed, and I don't think I found anything out of the ordinary unless anybody else did.
No, I think we just bring attention to the one payment there at the end of Bear Bank. That's our loan payment for this year.
Yeah.
For our stations. Outside that, that's the only thing that's out of the ordinary.
Yeah, that's the big payment. That's the 2 payments on the ARP and Flint station. So anyway, so I'd entertain a motion to approve 5.2, which is payment of our bills.
Make the motion that we approve number 5.2, payment of our bills in the amount of $1,693,985.07.
Have a motion by Commissioner Domney. We pay our bills in the amount of $1,693,985.07. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Arnold. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no.
Aye.
And that motion carries. 5.3 is the district credit cards.
The only thing that I see on those 2 is just we have a couple of larger purchases which are part of our, was it our trailer, I think, our command trailer, command platform that were on there, but outside that, all the rest of them are pretty ordinary.
Yeah, and that was because they couldn't get parts from the vendors or something, so, okay. All right, well, I entertain a motion to pay our credit card bill.
Make the motion to pay our district credit card under 5.3 in the amount of $42,540.57.
I have a motion by Commissioner Domney to pay our district credit card bill in the amount of $42,540.57. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah, okay, any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Under 5.4 will be our contract payments. Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Mobile Communications, and so on. I think all of them are pretty well in line. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
So that they're either, I'll make the motion that we approve our contract payments under 5.4 in the amount of $85,681.63.
Motion by Commissioner Dommy, we pay our contract payments in the amount of $85,681.63. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Arnold. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 5.5 is urgent purchases, and there was none this period. And then under 5.6, this is for board information only, and there's no action to be required. There's our Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas and Verizon payments. So we have nothing to do with that. And then on 5.7 is the noonday lease payment.
That's just a cumulative total on the right, is that a correct statement?
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you.
So, anyway,
And I don't think there's any, do
you
you,
need approval on the noonday lease payment.
okay, I'll make the motion that we approve the noonday lease payments in the amount of $3,000 for payment from the 5th of 2025 to the May 15th, 2025 to June 30th, as well as payment for July 1st to September 30th in the amount of $6,000.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Dommy, we pay the lease payment from May 15th, 2025 to June 30th, 2025 in the amount of $3,000, and payment from July the 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2025 in the amount of $6,000. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Item 6, approval of minutes. Receive, discuss, and take any action related to the following reports. Regular board meetings on June 23rd, 2025, and the budget workshop on July the 7th of 2025.
Having reviewed both, and we did pick up just a couple of small comments on those, but I propose that we adopt both the regular board meeting on June 23rd, 2025, as well as the budget workshop minutes from July the 7th, 2025.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Dominic, we adopt the regular board meetings on June 23rd, 2025, and from the budget workshop on July the 7th of 2025. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Arnold. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. All right, instead of item 7, we're gonna skip down and we're gonna pick up with item 9 and move it up in the agenda, which will be the fiscal audit report and associated documents to go along with that. Also, item 10 will follow it, which is the performance audit and investment policy. And then we'll take item 11 also, and then we'll go back to 7. Okay? All right. Floor is yours, sir.
I appreciate the board for letting us come out and present the financial audit for fiscal year 2024. I definitely want to thank Mr. Keith. It's hard to find a good accountant that actually understands the complex accounting policies and entries, so he's been a big help. So everybody should have this report in front of them, the board. So at the beginning, there should be a couple loose letters at the beginning of the report. And that first letter is what we call the communication letter. And this communication letter, it's mostly generic language. But I'm just going to mention a few things in it. On the second page, there's a couple paragraphs that's indented, and that just lists some estimates that's used with some of the numbers in the report. And those estimates has to do with like lives for depreciation for the capital assets. And then there's some estimates that's relating to the pension from TCDRS. And then almost at the bottom, it does say that we encountered no significant difficulties in dealing with management. So you definitely want to see that in the letter. And then on the next page, the third page, it says we had no disagreements with management. So that's something else you also want to see. The second letter, we call this the internal control letter. And so it just lists some items that we are required to list to the board members and to management. And I'll let you read that letter on your own. But those items are more than likely common with the ESDs. So moving on to the inside the report, the blue binder, the first page. So the first page actually doesn't have a page number. It's on our letterhead. It looks like this. So on that first page, second paragraph, the first sentence there, it says, in our opinion, the company financial statements present fairly in all material respects. So that's the best opinion that we can give. That's the exact language that you want to see. So if you want to turn to page 11, and I'm just going to hit some highlights. So page 11 and page 12, this is what's called the government-wide financials. And this is going to include everything. It's going to include all the capital assets and the long-term debt. So the total assets listed there is about $45.5 million. And then you have some deferred outflows under that of about $1.4 million. And it acts like an asset and it's related to the pension items. And then you have total liabilities of about $7.3 million. And that gives the district a net position of about $39.6 million, that last number there on the page. And then if you want to move to page 16, so don't go there, but page 14 and page 16, these are the fund financials. So it doesn't include the long-term items. It's basically like cash flow, except it includes the short-term payables and receivables. So something new this year is that there's capital funds that's been added to the financials. So you can see that first column is going to be the general fund, and the total revenues for the general fund is about $24.6 million. And then you have the capital funds, and total revenue for the capital funds is about $53,000, and that's basically investment earnings. It's interest earned. And then the total expenditures for the general fund is about $19.8 million, and for the capital funds is about $3.9 million, and that's basically capital asset additions. And then the next section, it says other financing sources. And so right there, you can see the transfers going out from the general fund of about $8.5 million and going into the capital funds. So that gives the district a ending fund balance of about $27.5 million. So if we want to move to page 29, I won't go over this in detail. I'm just showing you the capital assets footnote. And so on that table there, I'm just going to point out that the first column there is the beginning balance, and then the next column shows the increases, and most of those increases involves vehicles being purchased. And then the next column over has the disposals, and that's mostly older vehicles being disposed of. And so that gives the net capital assets, that last number there, about 16.2 million. And if you want to turn to page 43, so on page 43, footnote 11, I was just going to mention that right after, this has to do with subsequent events, so this is after the September 30th, 2024 date. And so in November, the district made a payment of about 1.6 million to TCDRS to lower the pension liability. So that's about all I'm going to go over in this report. Do you guys have any questions or want me to go over anything else?
No, I have no clue. I'm familiar with the information that he presented, so no problem. Don't have any questions at all. Thank you.
Would you like to approve the audit?
I'll make the motion to approve the annual audit and associated audit report, and that the staff senior accountant be authorized to sign the approval form, and the staff executive director, senior accountant, and board treasurer be authorized to sign the management representation letter for the management's response to the audit findings as stated in internal control letter.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Donnie, have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Arnold. Any other question or discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. All right, we'll move on to item 10, which is the performance audit on investment policy. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action related to the presentation of the annual performance audit and investment policy for fiscal year 2024. So,
Tucked in a blue binder, should have been at the end of it, there should be two letters tucked in at the end of it. And so that last letter there should say performance audit. So on this letter, this is the performance audit, and it has procedures that we applied to the investment policy. The investment policy for fiscal year 2024 was unchanged from the previous year. And as you can see, this report is 3 pages long. There's quite a few procedures involved with the investment policy. And so the only exception that we found is on the second page, step number 6. So on the second page there, number 6, there at the very top, the investment officers did not complete required 10 hours of education regarding investments. And however, they did complete the training that in January. And then one of the investment officers, for a certain specified certification, wrote a paper for Texas Public Fund Management, which involves investments, and that is currently being peer-reviewed and might be published. So I just thought that was noteworthy, but that was the only exception that we actually had for the performance audit.
Just for sake of the rest of the board, myself and Eric both have prior to the end of the year, but we both have stuff we going in and make sure that we take care of that, and got that training in place. And we'll try to make sure we keep it on our calendar to do it ahead of time.
I think we were aware of it, it just slipped up on us, but, okay. So I guess we need to, approve the annual performance on investment policy on that.
I'll make that motion to approve the annual performance audit on the investment policy, and that the board treasurer and the staff executive director be authorized to sign the management representation letter.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Dominy, have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed say nay, and that motion carries. Number 11, discuss, consider, and take any action related to the presentation of the annual agreed upon procedures on the investment report as of September 30th, 2024.
Yes, so you guys should have this letter that says agreed upon procedures there at the top. So these procedures are performed on the investment report for September 30th, 2024. And so again, as you flip through the pages, you can see the procedures are rather detailed. So in going through this and testing, and again, both of these reports, the performance audit and agreed upon procedures report, there's no judgment being used. It is very black and white as we go through all the procedures. So the only exception that we found was on that first page, number 3. It was the second bullet point listed there. And basically the beginning balance on the investment report, the amount there was incorrect. It was just carried over from the previous audit investment report. And so that number just wasn't updated. The number that really matters is the ending balance. And so the ending balance was correct. So that was just the only exception that we found.
Just a typo. Okay. All right. So everything was good. Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion on procedures over the investment report approved.
I'll make the motion that we approve the agreed upon procedures over the investment report, and that the board treasurer and the staff executive director be authorized to sign the management representation letter.
Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy, have a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Arnold. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Uh-huh. All right, now we'll go back to item number 7, which is the executive director's report.
So as usual, you have the written report, and I will focus on a few of the highlights. The finance department used to have 2 open positions, but we extended an offer, and one offer was accepted during this week. So right now we have 1 vacancy, and that is for the office support specialist position. So if anybody knows somebody, please send them our way. We have issued a RFP for strategic planning consulting services. It has been properly posted, and the deadline is the end of this month. And as I understand it, we have, so far we can see that a lot of companies have downloaded the RFP, and we hope for quite a few responses come the deadline. The development of the fiscal year 2026 budget is well underway. We have scheduled a board workshop this coming Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning, in this particular room. So please, at least 3 of you show up. So we can have, there's actually, I should tell you, it is a special meeting and a workshop, because there may be 1 or 2 decisions that needs to be taken too. So far, everything is on track as far as the budget is concerned. It's going to have to work late 1 or 2 nights this week to wrap everything up to be ready for Saturday. TIFMAS reimbursements, as you know, we had budgeted 250,000 to be reimbursed. With the 2 new deployments that we state approved the reimbursements for recently, we're looking at, so far year to date, 832,000 in reimbursements. So a big chunk of that will reduce the overtime that we have right now in the books and move that over to TIFMA's reimbursable, so we get a truer picture of what our true overtime is.
But not really a savings, it's an offset of cost.
And a positive deviation.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes, we've been taking the cost as it occurred, right?
exactly. But what we'll get reimbursed is gonna be more than what we actually cash-wise have paid out to, so. The audit, is Aaron still here? Or he left?
No, he left.
I just want to make one more point that he did. I just want to stress it even more, that the district received what is known as an unqualified, clean audit opinion on the books, which means you cannot get anything better. If it was qualified, that means that they do not have absolute certainty, but in this case, they are certain that the books are correct as they are. And those were my highlights for the report, and I'm open for questions.
Anybody have any questions for Eric? All right. Sound like an answer. All right. 7.2 is investment portfolio report.
And you should all have seen the report. It has been signed by myself and Mr. Domini as the investment officers. And ever since the auditors found that incorrect beginning balance, I have triple and quadruple checked the beginning balances on this report. So I believe this report is right. Year to date, as of the end of June, we earned approximately 564,000 plus 292, whatever that comes out. But we are tracking, and I can say with a high degree of certainty that we're going to exceed the budgeted projections for investment income to the tune of about $100,000, short of.
And that's primarily not due to an increase in funds that we have in reserve. It is really just due to a better performing market than what we forecast.
Longer for higher, or higher for longer, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I have about that one.
No action to be taken on
No.
that one? All right. Anybody else have any questions for Eric? Okay. We'll move on to item 8, which is financial reports. Keith, that'll be you.
I'd like to look at the June 2025 budget to actual, or special operating. So that report is through June 30th, 2025. That's 9 months into the year, only got 3 months left, it's hard to believe. So we should be right at about 75% approximately in some areas. Our property tax revenue, we budgeted 7.9 million and we plan to collect 7.9 million this year. Our sales tax, we budgeted 15.4 million and right now we anticipate collecting at least 15.4 million. Potentially maybe a little bit higher. If you look down at the miscellaneous income, we reported in June $140,000 in workers' comp dividends. So once a year, almost like we own stock, we get dividends from them. And this year, it was approximately a little bit more than $150,000. Just as an FYI, so far this year, total expenses for workers' comp were $232,000.
a new expense, it's just the way the expense is being recorded. In the past, we get a check less their fee. Now we're recording it as the total reimbursement less the fee. So we're just recording the same thing in a little bit different way.
Yeah, just a
all.
different way. I
Yeah.
tried to articulate to the auditor, I think the way we're doing is correct. But he disagreed, and so
Yeah, that's fine.
that's his job.
I just want to make sure that we're representing the fact that it is not a new expense or it's just being recorded differently. All right, thank you.
So you're looking at the sundry principal and the sundry interest, so we still have a big payment there that y'all just approved earlier. Now, that payment's not due till September 30th, so we got approval. We're gonna print the check, but we're gonna hang on to that check till probably the day before it's due, so we can earn as much interest as we can on the balance, and then I'll just hand deliver it to their amount. So, but just for the administration total, we budgeted 2.3 million. We've utilized 894,000, so we're at 37%. And again, our goal is still to leave the contingency intact. We're trying to leave that intact, and if we don't think we are, we will certainly inform the board. All transfers are complete. Looking at operations, nothing that interesting here. There is a deficit in equipment under fire operations of $18,000 approximately. Operations thinks they can cover that deficit from the small equipment. There's a fairly significant surplus there, $371,000. So overall, we budgeted 1.8 million for operations. If you add actual income and encumbrances together, we've utilized 73% of that budget. Looking at support services in total. Information technology does have a few deficits, but I've linked up with Brent. He's got a plan, and we're also receiving some reimbursements for insurance for some of the damages that were occurred from the lightning event. So again, we have some deficits, but hopefully the reimbursements we're going to get from insurance, and then he's going to cover from other areas. Those deficits should work themselves out in the next 3 months. Total support services, things look pretty good overall. We've got 2.35 budgeted support services. You add the actual expenditures with the total encumbrances, we've utilized 78% of the budget. Expenses in total, $27,850,977. Again, if you add our year-to-date expenditures, year-to-date encumbrances, we've utilized 77% of the expense budget. I can answer any other questions that you may have.
And none of these overages, unders are really any surprise to any of us. I mean, we record it each time that we come back in for funding requests. We've been very transparent about where those are at, and what they're going to do, and how we're going to cover them. So this is just a reconciliation of the year to date. So no surprise. It shouldn't be to anybody. Thank you.
We don't need any more on that, there's no action to be taken on it. Okay. So we've covered 9, 10, and 11, so now we'll just move down to 12, which is Ms. Sherry, Human Resources Report and Workforce Injuries.
Okay. Before you have my HR report. There are a few things I wanted to talk about. One is that we've completed the captain promotion process, and I'm happy to announce that Dell Birdwell has promoted to captain as of last Friday, the 25th. We are right now in a firefighter recruitment, and we're taking applications through August 1st for 8 open positions. And currently, to date, we have 56 applications. That's increased some from last Thursday.
I was getting ready to ask if, and there's other departments that are around us that are recruiting as well at this point in time. And,
A lot of recruiting going on right now.
yes, there is.
Yeah. We're still getting them.
We got 56.
Yeah, we're getting good applications. And then as previously discussed, we do have 2 positions open in administration. We have one accept our offer for accounts payable specialist, and we're currently taking applications for the office support specialist. The accounts payable specialist will start on August 4th. And then benefit renewals, I am scheduled to meet with Brinson Benefits on August 6th to go over our benefit package and renewal options. We did get a proposal from Blue Cross Blue Shield on the renewal at 36%, which is, of course, not good. And Brinson Benefits is actively working to negotiate a lower rate as well as getting quotes from alternative carriers. We do have a special called meeting scheduled for August 18th, and that's when we'll present our recommendations for the benefits. That's all I had for this report, unless you had any questions.
Do you have any on that? Just workforce injuries, just one?
We did not have any workforce injuries that resulted in a loss of hours in July of '25, so that's good news.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Item 13, community outreach report. Ms. Nikki?
Hello, good evening. Okay, when we get to the end of the month, I feel like the beginning of the month was such a long time ago, so I want to back up to 4th of July and really just give a shout out to all of the teams because they were all everywhere that weekend, everywhere that we could be, we were there. And it is not uncommon when we're talking about PR events because we don't take engines out of service. We run a call, we think we're going to go get something to eat, we run a call, and then we go to a PR event. So just a huge shout out to them because they were just on top of everything all the time, everywhere, in every place, constantly going. So I appreciate when they humor me and go to these PR events, and we are completely out of all of our helmets and stickers, and so those are on order because we passed all of those out. In the meantime, we are still running water calls, major accidents, which we talked about last time. We've just got a lot of traffic on the road, a lot of big calls. We're going to be talking more about water intake, taking care of the guys especially, or our team especially as they're out on scene because 3 o'clock in the afternoon is hot after you've been out there for 2 hours and you're working jaws and other heavy items. So really just focus on that. We're going to be talking with the media here in the next coming days over those kinds of things. We've been picking up on some of those PR events. Like I said before, we'll have hopefully a QUIET couple of weeks before we start. You can't say that word, but we're going to hopefully have just a little bit of a break. You can say it. We're going to have a little bit of a break before school starts, and then we'll pick back up with all of those back to school events, football games, coming and reading in the classroom, those pick up and drop offs, times where we're hanging out with some of those kiddos. So we're just going to give them a little bit of a rest for a minute, and then we'll get back to it. But we had some more of those even just this weekend, churches and other groups starting to kick off, the end of summer, back to school bash, things like that. As far as our website, so from a data perspective on the back end, the items are frozen, they're being transferred, they know where they're supposed to be going as far as outlining the new website. So nothing we have will be lost, but we're just in that movement stage of the website. So I think we're still shooting for September, maybe right at the beginning of October, just because we had that liaison change, but so far that's looking good, so I'm excited about that. If you're following us on social media, I don't know if you saw our big milestone. We hit more than 10,000. It was very exciting. We've skyrocketed over that. So just really watching our demographic, watching those viewers come in and kind of just encouraging people to say, hey, keep coming back to the page because we've got an influx of more than 100,000 into Smith County, and we need all of them watching so that we can share what's going on throughout the county, any kind of heat advisories, things that we're working with the fire marshal's office on. So we're excited about that. And then throwing in just a little bit of glitter and sunshine, as I like to say, in between all of our tough calls to get views and just a lot of fun. So I hope you saw our dumpster fire post. If you hadn't, I encourage you to go check it out.
Very impressed.
Thank you,
It's going great. We appreciate it.
thank you. Any questions, anything else?
Have you got any requests for CPR classes or for smoke detectors to be installed?
So
or
some
anything
of
like
those
that?
things, like smoke detectors,
Uh-huh.
there are organizations that work with us. I think Battalion Chief Trusso and I have talked about that a couple of times. We've talked about CPR classes a couple of times, and one of those things that we do run into is, again, so many of these organizations have on staff members who are in the medical field that can come in and teach that. But it is something that we've talked about, and on our website, I think I mentioned this last time, we'll have a spot where you can say, how do I meet with our firefighters or schedule CPR? Because it is more than just saying, hey, we're going to host a CPR class and take over one of the stations and bring in all of this influx of, community members, make sure that we have the instructor, make sure that we have all of the dolls that you need to place. A CPR class, as you guys know, is a couple of hours. So we're looking towards those things, but it really hasn't been something, as I've talked to different groups, that has been requested when we talk about it, because they've got it.
I think that'd be something good for us to promote, is to have a CPR class every quarter somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more people that know CPR, the chances of, just anybody can intervene and save a life. I mean, Seattle did it years and years and years ago, and proved it, so. I think it's something we ought to get involved in, so. Anyway. All right, thank you. All right. Item 14. Larry, your Assistant Executive Director's report.
Commissioners, as always, you'll have my report before you. I'll touch just on some highlights like everybody else. Fleet has deployed a new tire preventative maintenance program, making it official how we're going to handle tire rotations and making sure those are automatically generated and actually being processed. So Carla actually identified that as one of our shortcomings and has worked to get those automated tickets generating. So we expect to see some improvement in tire life along those lines. In addition, we had one of the fleet maintenance staff attend Hamatro tool service training, and we're working to get additional training opportunities provided to our staff. All the facility staff have relocated to the fleet maintenance building. They're no longer at admin, frees up a little space at admin, and it also allows better cross-training between our fleet and facilities department at management. It's also kind of providing a more protected area for the assets to sit in that fenced-in area. We have posted an RFP and received the results of that RFP for a new extermination service. Our last exterminator decided to start downsizing a little bit, so we'll be making a switch to a new exterminating company here in the short term. The Station 57, Bullard Station 57 remodel is continuing a little slower than what we'd like. We've got lots of tickets coming in that have taken a little bit of priority over that, but we are still making forward progress and look to close that project out soon. Technology is improving a little bit. We have finally obtained a new wireless technician. He's already come on and become pretty productive. We look for him to be a good long-term member for us. And we're still working to fill one opening that's currently being filled by a temporary position. The outfitting of the mobile command platform is well underway. The cabinets and a lot of the technology is already installed, and we're working to continue down that process. Be happy to answer any questions that you have or address any concerns.
Everything seems to be trending in the right direction, so.
Yeah, I think we have had a couple of challenges, mainly with NIT, of people having a hard time getting hold of us as they try to get caught up on some of this backlog. We can expect that to continue. I'm hoping everybody really makes use of that online scheduling system. That's the best way.
Thank you, Larry.
14.2, discuss and consider and take action on the purchase of FOSCHEC for inventory.
Commissioners, this is a routine consumables purchase and has undergone evaluation. I think the quote is attached. And we're recommending to go ahead and purchase two 260-gallon totes.
All right. I entertain a motion that we buy two 260-gallon totes of FOSCHEC for inventory at a cost not to exceed $19,500. So made. Have a motion by Commissioner Arnold. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 14.3, discuss, consider, and take action on purchasing bulk oil lubricant products from Mansfield Oil Energy at a cost of $6,863.60.
Commissioners, another routine and consumable purchase, and this is with our contract provider, Mansfield.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on 14.3. Authorize staff to purchase oil lubricant products for fleet maintenance inventory from contracted vendor Mansfield Energy at a cost of $6,863.60. Okay. A motion by Commissioner Arnold. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. All right. Thank you, Larry. Item 15, Chief of Operations.
Good evening, Commissioners. You have a report before you. A lot of activity within operations over the last 30 days since our last meeting. Sherry did mention that Captain Dale Birdwell was promoted, and a promotional process that was well accomplished from inside, and we're proud to see another promotion occur that with a lot of experience that'll lead us forward, especially being assigned to Station 46 and Troop. Be able to help us with the tactical tender concepts or dozer plow assignment at that location. So we're excited about where that goes and his leadership moving into that. A lot of training going on in terms of swift water and dive rescue training. A lot of things that have occurred over the last 30 days. And before you tonight, I have an agenda item that for your consideration. But a lot of ambitious training, a lot of good work that's been accomplished, and the skills and discipline of the team have come a long ways in a short amount of time. Really been active. You know, Nikki mentioned over the holiday weekend things like sunk boats in Palestine that were partially sunk that could be a disastrous situation. The team was adept and able to overcome those situations and work with the game wardens, and really our efforts and our collaboration working with game wardens has come from very little to a lot in a short amount of time on a first name basis kind of conversation. So we're not necessarily excited how that had to happen, but the fact that it did happen and that those relationships are now in place and where we've gone. Kudos to some of the leadership, Lieutenant Hawley, Lieutenant Willman, and Lieutenant John Moore that are working that project with a lot of passion and a lot of conviction. With that said, the CAD project is continuing, and we've met in collaboration with Smith County IT Department as well as Smith County Sheriff's Office, and working on next steps as well as Motorola. So things are moving, although at a little slower pace than I was cheerleading at the very first. Some realities of working interagencies and contracts and agreements that need to be put in place to accomplish this monumental task for the district. I think the improvements will be well worth the effort when we get there. And we've set our targets on the first of the year to get implementation in place. So we're also, as you know, just as a reminder, we're working with Lindell and City of White House in trying to bring those agencies along to really recognize the compounding benefits of running a shared system, being able to run in conjunction with rather than an after-fact kind of conversation, closest due off of GPS AVL kind of conversation. With that, we had a very productive VFD chief meeting at administration this past week. It went really well and was well attended. And really we're able to share concerns and address challenges that are ongoing. But really focus on water delivery, focus on some of the challenges with rostering of personnel on equipment that our contractual agreements provide for. So we're really trying to address those, gain the most effective and efficient system that we can possibly come up with. So that's ongoing, and I'm proud to report that it went really well. Last bullet on page 1, you'll notice that we had 35 company walkthroughs. Those are familiarizations with our commercial facilities. So those are ongoing, and we spun about 121 hydrants. That's not going perfectly. We've encountered some water providers that are less than happy with us, but I'm still of the firm opinion that if we're going to find out that a hydrant won't supply us, I would rather do that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon rather than 2 o'clock in the morning when we're desperately in need of that required fire flow. So we do have a couple of vehicle inspections that are forthcoming. The BME tactical tender that was approved as a replacement for the engine 146 that was a total loss earlier this year. That's ready to be inspected the end of this week. And so we'll go provide final inspection on that and get right back so that it can be here on Saturday. And then the Chapel Hill Skeeter brush truck at the Skeeter factory is scheduled for final inspection on August the 27th, and that'll fit within the grant extensions that Chapel Hill VFD was able to accomplish with the Texas Forest Service. So we're excited about what that does for the district and for Chapel Hill Volunteer Fire Department as well. That's the highlights that I have, and I left one thing out. The TIFMAS deployment that we were recently on, which was a pre-stage to College Station, all of those were sent home over the weekend, and so all those are back home, and so we're excited to have them back. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Chief, when they're checking these hydrants,
Yes, sir.
I know used to, we'd put a blue marker in the road where the hydrant was. I went by a place today that just had a fill pipe.
Mm-hmm.
No marker in the road. If you didn't know it was there,
Right,
you
you'd
know
never
it was there.
know it's there.
Yeah, so if
Yeah,
we can do that.
I would love to find a way that we could collaborate with Road and Bridge and municipals to get.
I think when we did it, the departments did them ourselves.
Yeah.
We put them in the road.
Yep.
So we may have to do
Yeah,
that.
previous life I even did a scout projects that would go out and do those as
Yeah.
Eagle Scout projects. So that's another.
Either way.
Yeah,
And these need to be marked so the guys,
totally agree with you.
you know.
One of the things that we are doing is placing a small green dot on the hydrant that is good flow, meaning that it will flow. And then we're placing an orange to indicate that there's problems with it. What we're hoping is that we don't come up with removed hydrants, and I know that's been a history in the past, and we're trying our best to avoid that. So,
Some of those fill stations are really hard to see if you never know they were there or if they're not marked.
totally agree with you.
Yeah, so.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And how are we coming on reports, as far as missing and not started and stuff like that? Or?
Battalions are working on it. We're doing much better, but still a work. That will be a forever work in progress, but trying to make sure that we're staying on top of it.
Yeah, that's good, because it's,
Yep.
especially the ones that we can get some revenue off of it.
Yeah, so just a little follow-up on that. We have met with DPS, and we've got some updates on that. You may have seen some of the communications going out about that. So DPS is very willing to work with us. It's just a matter of making sure that we get all the right players knowing how to go about that. So.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. All right. 15.2, discuss, consider, and take action on the purchase of structural PPE gloves for inventory, and authorize the purchase of gloves from NAFCO at a cost of $8,625.
Commissioners, just as recent as a few hours ago, a couple of things related to the brand, the supply, and the vendor. And so I respectfully ask you to table this item, and we'll bring it back.
We'll table that and then,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think you probably headed down the path I was gonna ask you about on some of those
Yeah.
from Hoover. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. 15.3, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on dive team training in the amount of $9,537.24.
Commissioners, you've had an opportunity to review the request and walk through that. No question that when you look at these, they stack on top of each other. The dates of those training classes were 5/8, June 6th, June 29th, and June 30th, respectively. And so as such, there's no doubt about it, they look like. Sorry.
Yeah. That wasn't my phone, but that was the alarm on the phone, so anyway. All right. My bad. I'm embarrassed about that. Sorry, Chief.
You're allowed to do that. You're the
No,
president.
No, I'm not allowed to do it. Nobody else is. I'm not allowed either.
So Commissioners, as you look through those invoices, we've been working directly with the Longview Fire Foundation. This is our first experience to really do that. We're extremely pleased with the collaboration, and this is their ability to do some cost recovery related to training up our disciplines. This was our first experience with them. They've done a lot of work for us. I think they've done some gratis work, but they can't do it all for free. And so in that, I think the thing that I would point to you is that we ran into situations of dates and weather conditions and availability of staff and instructors that could accomplish those kind of dives. And so they've really got us in a situation where we're just being transparent with you, that this shouldn't have happened this way. I should have came before you and put the whole package together, and working forward, we'll make sure that happens.
Agreed, a lot of good things happen out of that, and we don't want to be a hindrance to your progress either. So let's just try to keep it on. There's a way, we all know there's a way to have got around this without having to do it this way.
No argument at all. So I respectfully ask for your permission to approve. There is the total fund request includes a dive training that would occur next month. And so that is packaged within this, and so that's for your consideration as well. You'll see that in the total dollar amount of the $9,000 and some change.
So do you have any other training that you're planning for the rest of the fiscal year?
Fiscal, no, there won't be any more related to dive and water there.
So, I mean, because you only have $1,200 left.
You're exactly right.
Okay.
Just remember, if something like that's coming up, we can always call a special meeting for stuff like that. So,
I appreciate you offering that.
yeah. So, all right, I'll entertain a motion on 15.3.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of POs number 6893, 6894, 7042, and 7043 in the amount of $6,537.24, and approve an additional amount not to exceed $3,000 for additional dive training, total cost not to exceed $9,537.24.
Have a motion by Commissioner Donovan. You have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 15.4, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on replacement of the captain's truck.
Yeah, Commissioners, if you remember back to the current budget cycle, this one was included in the budget cycle, and we've held off on it for a variety of reasons that you're aware of. Other constraints within the capital apparatus budget, things that we were able to accomplish that really helped us move things along, and we held back on this. Most recently, this truck was involved in a motor vehicle crash, a rear-end collision that has the front end in quite a bit of damage. Could it be repaired? The insurance company has looked at it, and they've offered an insurance adjustment on it, but in that, they're uncertain of how far that damage goes back into the frame and other components. And so basically what we know is that there's $10,000 in insurance settlement and 5,000 of that would be in deductible. With that, this truck was scheduled for replacement, and it has significant mileage and significant engine issues. I've had variety of reports on this truck that it's like, man, I don't know if that motor's going to make it in another week. In terms of knocking and missing and issues with that particular power plant. So it was scheduled for replacement. At the replacement end of that, probably this one goes to auction. And so now that it's crashed, the recommendation is to allow it to go to auction and replace it. So in that, we're not able to do a full turnkey replacement like what was provided for on the battalion trucks. That was done by EBS out of Houston, a Sidney Martin subsidiary. And this one is similar in terms of some of the components and the truck, but will be done in-house. And so there's a number of things about it that accomplish savings. We've sought out a chassis that is available. That's a challenge to find a red chassis available at this end of the build cycle. In fact, just if I could segue just a little bit, or derail just a second, the battalion trucks are delayed, and they're delayed because they were quit painting the red trucks for the rest of the build, the Ram truck build cycle. Those reds were not in production until 26. Now the vendor's going to hold the pricing and all that good stuff for us. So one of the objectives here is to find a red chassis that would fit our needs. We were able to find a few of those, although the one that we're recommending is actually a dealer trade. They're going to actually do some dealer trades to accomplish that particular chassis and that pricing. With that, additionally, as I mentioned, this will be in-house upfitting. And so our plan is to recycle and reuse emergency lighting, sirens, siren controller, and things of that nature. So we'll be able to reutilize those pieces and pull those off before that chassis, if approved, goes off to auction. And so in that, we've provided you with quotations. This is not a perfect package. But the package comes together in such a way that we feel like we can accomplish it in-house at a best value for the district, rather than delay it and to push it into the next budget cycle and then have it outsourced at a higher price. And so what I have before you is a humble request on a truck that will absolutely meet our needs in recycling equipment and putting some new assets on a new chassis. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
I've already had my discussion about it, so I'm good.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion on approving the project for Captain's Club.
Make the motion, we approve the project in the amount of not to exceed $70,000, $94.99 for the new captain's truck to allow Chief Reeser to sign all the necessary documentation.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Donovan. Have a second?
Second.
A second by Commissioner Arnold. He beat you, Charles. Is there any other question or discussion?
What's the timeline we're thinking on this?
Yeah. All right.
Includable now, so just
Yeah.
a follow-up on that. Right now, we're rearranged some trucks. As you know, we purchased the noonday truck. That's held us off a little bit. We've been able to rearrange. We're currently, the captain is riding the truck assigned to White House. So just kind of massage and move things around there.
And this will be a 25 model? Okay. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carried. All right. Item 16, consider and taking necessary action on fire chiefs presenting and discussing issues with the board for future actions. Art?
Good evening, Commissioners. As you can see, we had about 35 calls last month. Again, it's, good for us. Our people are staying off the road. We were still, I think, 100% active for all of our members by running calls, rostering the station, or a combination of both of them. As far as training goes, my assistant chief is in an instructor 1 class right now. I think he has one more test to do and then maybe his skills and he'll be done. I've got one member that's going to start his EMT class next month. And then I had one person picked up an application. Hopefully he'll get that returned soon. He's already certified, so that'll help us out. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Looks like you know, they said there's about a 70% participation rate in the period with those 9 personnel. Overall, good result.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Muller.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The report, I have to always preface, the one you're looking at does not have the accurate numbers because we use Sling for our staffing. Month of June, 433 hours were committed for rostering, 401 for training. Gives us 834 hours. We covered 73 6-hour shifts running out of Station 56. Right now we're limited at Station 56 to only having 2 volunteers on staff. We only have 5 sleeping spots. The renovations are ongoing at Station 57. As soon as we get Station 57 up and running, then we can continue back to that 3 or 4 shift staffing model that we had prior to coming on board. Also, I did notice a discrepancy. I need to take it up with, I guess, whoever does the report. It indicated we had 12 certified on there. By the numbers, we've got 18 members. We had 16 that were certified firefighters, 14 wildland, 9 EMTs, 2 ECAs. As far as training go, we have 2 in paramedic school. We've got 1 in the fire academy. Worked with Chief Greaser during the Chiefs meeting. We hammered out an agreement to document any of our members that don't meet the current standards and a path forward. We're going to have a 3-year commitment. Right now we only have 2 of those members, so over the next 3 years they will be onboarding to complete all of the requirements for a current firefighter and or officer. Training wise, Captain DeSimone is our training officer. He just was promoted to captain. Recently, TEEX, TCFP and SIFMA have created a new certification through Pro Board, and that is the NFPA 1403 Live Fire Instructor and Live Fire Instructor in Charge. Lieutenant Troy Pritchard with the ESD and myself attended the first offering of this at TEEX. Captain DeSimone just completed it, so to my knowledge, we are the first 3 people in Smith County to attain that NFPA 1403 certification. And what that goes to, as Chief Greaser and the team are building the new live fire training structure, you now have resources that have the Pro Board certification to stand behind that and to help fulfill our mission in a safe and effective manner. Brush 356 has been out of service. And for your information, Brush 356 is one of our military vehicles. It is our high water and I believe one of 2 Type 4 wildland apparatus that we have in the county. Type 4 means that it carries more water than our normal brush trucks. This correlates directly to what Mr. Locke was talking about, the tire replacement program. Last year, Brush 356 required some new tires. New tires were purchased. Because it is a military vehicle, the tires purchased, the date code on them was already expired. So we've got a vehicle that's sitting there with tires that are out of date that we need to get new tires for. We've been working to get it worked out as to how we're going to procure those, but that is, I believe, one of 2 wildland Type 4 units and 2 high water rescue vehicles that we have. I'm looking at Chief Greaser because I believe that's the right number in our wheelhouse. And when it comes to TIFMAS, those are deployable assets, so we know that as a moneymaker. For the board's awareness, I also had this discussion with Chief Greaser at the Chiefs meeting. We are working on a public-private partnership in Bullard between the city of Bullard, Cherokee County, Bullard Fire Department, and Christus EMS to build up our VHF radio capabilities on the interoperability channels. During the tornado that happened, when we lost communications for a little while, there was a gap there. Cherokee County has just gone with a digital radio system. Cherokee County has invested in portable and mobile radios in all of the Bullard apparatus. They are the only department, because of our relationship with Cherokee County, that they bought these for. What we're looking to do is install a repeater or repeaters on the radio tower that Bullard owns inside the city of Bullard. That will enable longer distance communications. Beautiful part about this is we're not asking for any money from the ESD because this is a very localized partnership, but we want you to know what's going on in the community in case you hear something about it, okay? Any funding that would come from it would be through grants and or through the partnerships that are being developed. But we just wanted to have transparency with you that that is what, if you hear anything about a radio project in Bullard, that's what it is all about. It's just for interoperability. We continue to work with the team here towards the Station 56 resolution for housing ESD and Bullard folks together in it. And I am open to any questions that you have.
Well, ask, make sure that I heard it correctly. I believe that you stated that you had personnel that had been rostered in the past that are unable to roster now simply because of limited bedding availability.
We're doing that to limit the number because of the beds. We've got 5 beds at Station 56, so for overnight staffing.
I mean, have you reached out to any other adjacent departments, see if they can use those additional resources that you may have?
We have not, although at our meeting, Chief Greaser did bring up, rostering at other stations. I think we still have some logistics to work out for contractual language that prohibits it or interferes.
Right, I understand. I hate to see us, we have people that want to serve, not have the opportunity to go. And so I'm just looking for alternative solutions on that.
Yes, sir. We hate to turn away people that they're willing to work. And there's always recliners.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Chapel Hill, Chief Peters.
Good evening. We've been busy throughout this here month, in fact, the last 2 months. We have sent, in fact, 7 guys went to teach this last week and came back. 2 of us took strategy and tactic, learning the tactics of fire and stuff. Then we had 5 of them took agriculture rescue on top of that. And they all learned quite a bit of stuff coming back from teach, which has always been good for that. Also, we helped out in this last month on the fireworks with the White House. We helped out at the Boulders when they had the fireworks there, and also at the dam. And also, we helped staff the Marina 151 on the Lake Tyler. We did that as well throughout both events. Also, we helped on, our GSAR team was called in to help out there in Bullard. We're lost personnel. So they called us in on that, and luckily, pretty much by the time we got there, they did find the guys, so it was pretty good. Then we got 2 new members that came on a roster back in June, and they're fully certified with TCFP and plus EMT, and one of them's Wildland. And both of them have been working 24 hours or 48. In fact, some of them worked 48 shifts. So worked double, and they've been doing that not just 1 time a month, they're doing it 2 or 3 times a month. So they've been staffing pretty well. And the shifts, both shifts, like the both personality, so they're working them in pretty good, so that's pretty nice. Also, I got another new member just got on this last month. He's working on his SFMA support. The main part on that is that EVOC. We gotta try to get, that's always the hardest one to get. but we're working on getting that done too as well. And also, let's see. And then the last thing is that this weekend, we're going to be at the Chapel High School for the back to school. They have for us to come back, help out, open up, have a booth there as well for their back to school. And then also the next couple weekends, Chapel Hill's also had that bond with the new schools. They're having the ribbon cutting done on the middle school on the 9th, and then the high school is on the 16th. So, and then we're going to have a day that where we can walk into as well, so we get to know the school as well, on top of that. And that's it.
Thank you, Dale. All right. Clint Gresham.
Good evening. Well, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm here. All right, so first off, just please excuse Chief Stone and Assistant Chief Rath. They both had business and they are both out of town. Starting, Flint participated in 3 events for Independence Day. They went to Knollwood, South Spring Baptist Church in conjunction with Tyler Fire. Also at Country Place in conjunction with White House. And then we had 4 attendees. And then lastly, they've had 1 new member, so went pretty fast, and again, I will answer what I can.
Well, we can't pick on you because you were a last-minute substitution, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
They'll be here to take all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Sir?
They'll be here whenever all the bad stuff has to be.
I hope so. I hope so.
White House.
Yeah.
Chief Tate.
All right. So for the month of July, White House participated, Nikki talked about this pretty heavily in her talk. We had 6 events in our district over the 3-day or 4-day Independence Day. I was definitely coordinating with JD and Chief Greaser pretty heavily on that, and Chapel Hill and White House are in Flint because I had at one point trying to get to 3 events at the same time, and I don't know if you've tried that, but it doesn't work. So we adapted and overcame, made it happen. JD threw another little curve at me for staffing Marine 151 a little longer than we normally do, but we were able to do that. We did staff that boat for 4 consecutive days from about 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. With dive team members and operational personnel from either White House, Chapel Hill, or Flint Gresham during that time. We had 5 personnel that attended TEACS this past week. 4 were students, and I was an instructor at that school. Had a really good, lot of good discussions we had down there, some of which I'll be talking with Chief Greaser and Eric coming up. I was able to sit in a briefing with Dale and Paula with directors from 2604. They're fixing to throw a lot of money at us, and we're going to have to plan for that income. My kind of hip shot on it is we're probably looking at $1.5 to $2 million coming into ESD2 this next budget year from 2604 for apparatus and equipment. So we're going to have some planning there. Sorry for the late notice, but we found out about it last week. So we'll just have to figure out what we can figure out, but that may help with some of the budgetary issues that we're facing. White House did lose 2 members this month, and this is something I'm going to add in because we always talk about people that we get. We don't talk about people we lose, and I'm going to kind of focus on why we lose people. So for these particular 2 that we lost, nothing that we could have changed. In fact, I think it was positive moves in both of their lives. One was accepted to nursing school, and she said she's just not going to have time, and I told her, having just completed nursing school, I completely understood and wished her the best. She did indicate that after the completion she may want to return. And we lost one who was offered a full-time job at his church in a ministry position, and he said he's probably going to be working 80 hours a week and just didn't think he was going to be able to do that as well. Says once he kind of got his feet on the ground and learned the position and everything, he may want to return as well, and we told him they're both welcome to return once they feel that they can and serve within that time that we need. We do have 4 member applications that are making their way through the process, and I'll be getting with Sherry to kind of follow up on those because As you all know, there's some changes in admin, and so we've kind of, a couple of those I think have just slipped through the cracks a little bit. We just need to kind of figure out where they are and get them going. Any questions? Thank y'all.
I'll state that, we commend you on your group at a 92% participation rate. And I want to make, I look at as number of volunteers that actually go to the calls, and you have by far the highest rate of any of our volunteer firms.
I appreciate it, yeah. And I want to talk to you about where that report's coming from. I show 100%, and it's the discrepancy is your report doesn't show station staffing, I believe, correct? So station staffing puts all of my people at active for the month. So, but yeah, we'll work on that, make sure you have the numbers ahead of time.
Good results out of the way.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. One on, Chief Allen?
Good afternoon. As far as rostering and everything else, we're starting to get a little more participation in as far as our tender rostering, which is a big push right now for across all the VFDs. We have had tenders go down for maintenance. We've had a facility go down for utility issues, so therefore that did hinder some of our numbers this month as far as being able to put people in the building. We have 4 currently in the Henderson County, or maybe it's Henderson Fire, maybe I'm saying that wrong, but they're going to the Fire Academy over in Henderson, and they did their live fire burns this last weekend. Some of them, that was their very first time seeing live fire, and definitely have changed some of the way they look at how some of us walk into these burning buildings nowadays. We did have one attend the summer school, which she enjoyed the class. I'm here to answer any questions. So.
Yeah, just, there was two no responses on medical. Just, I don't know if you know specifically what the circumstances were there, but just.
I believe some of those may have been where we were, one of them I believe was where we were, our paid staff was already out on a call, and that call got pushed over and during the working day hours. And, so, all right.
Item 17 will be closed session. The board will convene closed session according with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. No action shall be taken while the board is in closed session. Any final action, final decision, or final vote shall be taken as the board reconvenes in open session. And we will be going into closed session at 7:26. Would everyone please clear the room? no action to be taken on anything discussed in closed session, so, item 19 is remarks by presiding officer and/or board members, information or anything. Brent, you have anything?
No, so we've got several different meetings that are coming up, they'll be publicly noticed, and so we'd like to get those things behind us as soon as we can. And, again, just thank everybody for, over the last month, I mean, it's not just last month that you do a great job, but over the last month, we want to recognize all the participation that we have from all the different departments, we certainly appreciate it.
Charles, you got anything? Mac?
Yes, one thing I'd like for us to discuss at a future meeting is the fact that the legislature has passed the amount that we have to have approved, pre-approved, from 2,000 to substantially more. I don't suggest we need to go to the top amount, but I think we need to modify that amount.
Okay.
And I'd just like to discuss that with y'all at one point.
We can do that at a future meeting, put it on the agenda and we'll discuss it. So, Scotty, you have anything?
I don't have anything further, thanks.
Okay. Well, I'll just tag on to what Brent said. We appreciate all the hard work that you all do and the time you spend away from your families and the time you devote to the citizens of this county. And, you know, just say we appreciate everything you do. And with that, I don't have anything else. Like I said, there's some workshops coming up. They'll be posted and some special call meetings, so watch out for them. So at this time, I will entertain a